Good morning, children. So we'll start with a new chapter, the making of the national movement, right from 1870 to 1947. Now, this chapter is a big chapter, has lots of subtopics in it, and we will just quickly go through the subtopics. We'll see the emergence of nationalism, a nation in making, freedom is our birthright, which was a slogan given by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, the growth of mass nationalism, how people started joining. Then we see the coming of Mahatma Gandhi, the Gandhian phase, the Rowlatt Satyagraha, the Khilafat agitation and non-cooperation movement, People's Initiative, the People's Mahatma, the happenings which took place between 1922 and 1929, the revolutionary nationalists, the march to Dandi, then how women also got involved in the struggle for freedom. We will see other points also. We'll see how Subhash Chandra Bose joined the revolt, quit India, and later and finally towards independence and partition. Good morning, children. Today we will start with a new chapter of history, the making of the national movement, and this is a very important chapter, and we'll cover the period from 1870 to 1847. Now let's go back a little. We had learnt about the Great Revolt of 1857, and this revolt had a significant impact on the national movement that we are going to study now. The revolt inspired each and every Indian to unite against the British. We have seen the reasons for that, and this also led to the growth of patriotic feeling in every Indian heart and the love for one's country being generated, which later on was seen in the national movement also. And during that time, people realized and how the Britishers were exploiting them. Britishers had completely ruined India. It had drained our wealth, resources, exploited people of all classes. It burdened the farmers, traders, artisans, middle class with heavy taxes. And so people saw there was no ray of hope. And such conditions, these conditions became a fertile ground for the growth of nationalism among the Indians. And now they felt that a revolt is not going to work. What is the difference between revolt and a movement? Revolt is a sudden uprising when suddenly they feel they must attack the British and drive them away. But movement, it takes a period of time. Over a period of time, things develop, and then they plan out and do. So the revolt is normally many times not successful because it is a sudden thing and is not very planned. Okay, but this nationalism movement took over almost 90 years for us to get our independence, and we are going to study about the national movement. Children, before we begin, we must see that some of the steps that the Britishers actually took for their benefit in order to administer the country properly, but it helped us in the growth of nationalism among the Indians. Again, we felt that this helped us in the unification of India. The first thing that the Britishers, when they came, they laid the railway lines, telegraph, then postal services, made roads, and they made it for their own benefit so that they could administer each and every part of the country properly, and they could reach any part of India as soon as possible. But this helped the Indians to communicate with each other, communicate to the people how the Britishers were exploiting our country, and make them realize. So this railways and postals also now generated a feeling of nationalism more among the Indians, led to more unification and oneness among Indians. Okay, then there were some scholars who were very interested to know about the past and culture, about the past history of India, the culture and the heritage of India, and this helped the people to realize about the glorious past of their history, and this developed a sense of pride and self-respect among the Indians. So in a way, this also helped in the unification and development of the nationalism in India. Okay, and the third factor, most important, was the growth of Western education. Now, the introduction of English education, what happened? Many Indians got educated, many even went to England to study. So they got educated, they came to know about the Western ideas, they learned about the French Revolution, the American War of Independence, what were their ideas, they learned about words like equality and liberty, and realized that this is a time when they should get independence, and realize how the Britishers were ruining their country. This also helped them now to develop the feeling of oneness, nationalism, and unity among the people. And this led also to the growth of vernacular press, when people started writing newspapers, articles, criticizing the British. And due to this thing, people all over pan India, it was now a pan India means everyone was now getting united, and this led to the national movement. Okay, so this was just a background. Now we will go into the chapter and see what are the various ways in which we get the nationalist movement developed, and finally how we got our independence. Children, now we will look at the first topic of this chapter, the emergence of nationalism. Now, as I've given you all the reasons how the nationalism started, first the people started questioning themselves as to what is this country of India and whom is it meant for. They started asking themselves this question. And what was the answer that they got when they started asking themselves? Yes, they said yes, India is for the people of India, irrespective of class, color, caste, creed, language, or gender. And the resources and the wealth belong to them. And how it then the awareness started that the British were actually draining the wealth of their country, taking away to England. And that when that awareness started, they realized that they must unite together and drive the British away from the country. So associations after that, people started coming together. Associations were formed. What is the meaning of associations? Groups were formed, and the first group which was formed is in Pune called Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Now all these groups were not formed for any specific goal. It was for all the people. And what was the common goal? To drive the British away, and also to develop this new idea called sovereign. What is the meaning of sovereign? That means they should act independently without any outside interference. Okay, like we have seen Modi ji saying Atmanirbhar, make everything in India, don't depend on the British. So many such organizations were formed. First one was the Pune Sarvajanik, that means for all the people, they had all common goal. Then in other parts of the country, it was made in Pune. Then Indian Association was formed. Madras Mahajan Sabha in Madras, South India, it was formed. Bombay Presidency Associations were formed. And finally, a big group called the Indian National Congress was also formed. So various people started uniting together, trying to find out how they are going to carry out this nationalism and drive the British away from our country. So this is just the beginning, and we see the formation of many associations. Now children, we see that the dissatisfaction with the British rule intensified further among the Indians. Now it was mainly due to these three acts that the Britishers had passed. It was the Arms Act. Let us look at the first act, the Arms Act of 1878. Now, according to this act, it disallowed Indians to possess any arms. Now, the Britishers thought that if they give this right to the Indians to possess arms, there might be another uprising like the revolt of 1857. So, in order, they were very cautious. They had burnt their fingers once and did not want any other uprising now. So, they passed this act called the Arms Act, disallowing any Indian to possess arms. Okay, the next act that they passed was the Vernacular Press Act of 1878. Vernacular means the regional languages. Now, many small press were writing in the language of the people, a common language of the people, which was Marathi, Gujarati, Tamil, Telugu. All they were started writing in their mother tongue, writing critical about the British, Okay, now the Britishers felt that this will intensify the feeling of nationalism further. So, in order to curb that, they passed this Vernacular Press Act. Okay, now according to this act, if they found any newspaper writing anything objectionable about the British, they would confiscate the press. Okay, they will take away all their machinery and bring the press to a closure. So this was another act which was not liked by the British, and this was an act which actually silenced those who were critical of the British government. Okay. The third act was called the Ilbert Bill, and this is Lord Ilbert. You can see here. Now his act was actually a proposal was very good and in favor of the Indians. Now, what was this act in 1883? This act was passed, and this provided the trial of British or European persons by Indian lawyers. Okay, so if a British committed any crime, or he would be tried by whom? By the Indian judges in the country. But the Britishers did not like this. They opposed this bill. In fact, it was a way of promoting the Indian judges. They were going to try if the Britishers committed any mistake, they would be tried by the Indians. But the Britishers did not like it. It was opposed by all the white Englishmen, and they forced the government to withdraw this bill. Okay, and when this and the government had to withdraw this bill, so the Indians were very annoyed, because this highlighted the racial discrimination of the British of India, and the Indians were enraged, very annoyed with this, that they were doing racial discrimination. Okay, so you can see this intensified, that now they should gather their efforts and make a association which will be for the whole of the country, an association which all the people can join, and there should be one association where they can all gather together and fight for independence.